Good morning. What's up? It's Friday. Hold on, let me post this on my story. That's my little I'm on live face. How are you guys doing today? I know probably not too many people watching today. It is Friday morning. I didn't want to stream last night because of the game. And I stand by that choice. So if you're out there watching or if you join later, I appreciate you. If you watch the run back, I appreciate you. Happy Friday. It is 2 days out to game day. A lot to get into. I haven't streamed the last couple weeks just because maybe laziness. Maybe I'm not excited about the moves that are happening. And, I was taught if you got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. And so, sometimes I like to bite my tongue on things just because I don't want to say I look through a different lens, but I'm tired of buying the bullshit, right? And so I look through a skeptical lens every move Mark Davis and the Raiders make. And I think I have viable reasons to feel that way. And so, that's probably the majority of the reason why I don't stream consistently. I try to aim it for every Thursday, just because I'm off Fridays, and so just late night stuff like that. But sometimes, like I said, it's just I don't know. I get disappointed sometimes, and I know it's a new season, stuff like that. But I mean, look at what we haven't done um, in our time in Vegas, right? And so, yeah. Anyways, let's get into it. So I'm just gonna react to some videos, some news, some stuff on my chest. And so, that's what we'll be doing. Talking about some events I got going on and things like that. I hope everybody's having a great Friday. Let's get into this. So Namdi talks about Al Davis. One of my favorite things to do ever is listen to players talk about Al Davis. I never got the chance to actually meet Al. I was in presence of Al, but anyone knows that when you're in the presence of Al, you're also in the presence of like 8 security guards that surrounded him. And so he wasn't an accessible guy, right? He's not Mark Davis just walking around trying to meet everybody. He kept to himself. And so I love hearing stories about Al.
Need your favorite Al Davis story.
I don't.
Come on now. You got something for me.
He's saving it for the Al Davis
You're the
story.
male lead with Jessica Chastain.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. He's going to direct the Al Davis story.
That's already being done.
I've
Al
seen
Davis.
the Christian Bale, the images,
And
and I think it's great.
come on, what do you got?
There are too many interesting.
Okay.
Al. As we would walk through. Have you ever seen Devil Wears Prada?
Okay. All right. He's the Meryl Streep where he's coming to work and everybody's scared.
The Anna
Are
Wintour.
you serious?
I mean,
Are you
trillion%.
Oh
You could
my
ask
God.
anybody that played. You knew when he was coming down the hall, and guys would turn their different ways, and people are going into doors that don't even, you know what I mean? Just getting out of the
Somebody
way.
just jumping in a broom closet?
1,000%. And yes. And, but eventually when you realize that he's a real person,
Yes.
you stop fearing him. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so there was a point where I think it was in my second year when, he just pulled me to the side. And we started talking, and then for the rest of my time in Oakland, he and I, every couple weeks, we would meet in his office
Oh man.
for about 10, 15 minutes.
What was that
and we
like?
would
Wow.
my teammates would be like, "You're up there."
Talking to Al Davis, right? I mean, you better be sharp on talking hoops, right? Because he was one of the last owners that was just locked in on film, right? He's one of the few owners to become coach to ownership. So football is something that he's locked in on that most owners weren't. And man, that's got to be just a weird feeling, right? You got to be on your P's and Q's for having conversations about football with Al Davis because he's watching film the whole time. So that's awesome.
You're talking to Al. I mean, like,
you would pick his brain, or you would just tell you stories of back in the day of the AFL or with Madden or with.
He was so smart. You couldn't really pick his brain. He was always picking yours. You know, I'm like, even if you didn't think he was, you know, there was a time when we were getting ready to I saw him at the airport in LA, and I was a rookie. I said, I know everybody runs from him, but I think I got to walk up to him. So I walked up to him. I said, Mr. Davis, hey, it's Nnamdi. He turned around. He's like, oh, how are you? We start talking. He's getting ready to get in his car. And he says, I'm thinking about getting a quarterback named Kerry Collins.
Don't do it.
He said, can you tell me about him? I'm trying to get home. He's trying to get home. I mean, like, we're in the middle of like Russia. Everybody's rushing. And so I'm like panicking. I have to give him, you know, my quick Kerry Collins spiel. And it was like a quick minute. He didn't care. He wanted to know if I cared about the game. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
He wanted to know what I knew about the game of football. Like, am I following other? Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
And I think that was one of those moments where I was like, oh no, this isn't someone to fear. Like, he's one of us.
I need your favorite Al Davis story.
I don't.
Just a pure hooper, bro. That's crazy, man. Shout out to Al Davis. Right. I don't got too much to react to today, but we here. Team captains: Max Crosby, AJ Cole, and Geno Smith. I mean, who on offense is going to be our captain? So that's cool. It's cool. All right. This is probably an old clip, but let's see what Cooper has to say.
Talk about, unfinished business kind of with the Raiders coming back here. Like, is this something you always had in the back of your mind at some point you wanted to be back and kind of finish where you started here?
Yeah, honestly. I always kind of had that in the back of my mind because, when I was drafted here, I felt like the expectations were high. I felt like I did okay, but I always knew, why I was drafted. You draft a guy at top 5, you expect them to come and, really help change the organization. And, I felt like, at times, I showed flashes of doing that, but it wasn't to my expectations. So, like I said, this time around, I feel like I have unfinished business. I definitely see the opportunity, working with Geno to be able to do some great things. So I'm excited about it.
Talk about, unfinished.
I don't even want to get into. That's why I'm here. I'm going to get into it. But man, my feelings for Amari Cooper. I mean, I've never been really big on Amari Cooper. I think I've posted him like a couple times, but I've never really made like an edit or anything about him. Just I'm not a fan of him. I feel like he was overrated. I felt like he had a bad attitude. One of the worst experiences of my life as a fan was with Amari Cooper. I don't want to get too into details, but I've never had an individual make me feel less of a human than Amari Cooper did. Ever since then, I kind of just wasn't a big fan, right? I try not to get too personal, right? Because there's players that have rejected pictures or autographs from me that, we dabbed up after they said no. You know what I mean? Like, I don't take that stuff personally. But when you like make it just think attitude, and just like attitude is everything. You know what I mean? Like, players have told me, with great attitudes, like I said, we dabbed up after, told them good luck on the season, stuff like that. But like, the attitude was crazy, and you can see that kind of spill on the field. It was a mental thing, right? Like, he got mentally taken out of games easily. His first game, I remember going, and that was when what was his name? Pac-Man Jones bullied the fuck out of bro. Like, it was awkward the way he was bullying bro. And so heavy hitter, right? Like, he would have big plays, but to me, Amari Cooper was like a Billy Butler. What Billy Butler was for the A's, right? Billy Butler would have a beautiful swing. Billy Butler would hit a nasty home run. But majority of the times, the A's were either down by like 5 or up by 5. So it wasn't really the game changer. Did look good on the highlights, did look good on ESPN, but, was rarely clutch. Now, I don't want to take away because Amari Cooper has had a few, game clutch catches, stuff like that, but nothing where it was consistent. The expectations were high because you were drafted high. Your expectations for the Raiders was high too, right? That's kind of what you said when you left. And now you're back. I think his best years were with the Raiders. If you look at his value in trades, stuff like that, his highest value was the Raiders, right? He didn't get a 4th round pick from the Browns to go to from Cowboys, and then I mean his best years with us. But once you kind of like down talk the organization, especially at that time, like I understand when players leave and they're frustrated because we're like stuck in this hole or we're just not doing well. But like the Raiders were peaking before he left, and he just left and he just badmouthed the team. And that stuff like that just doesn't sit right with me. And then we release him, right? And so I hope Raider fans kind of see what's going on time to time when we sign people and there's all these press conferences, right? What did Amari do? He pushed Vegas, he pushed Oakland, he pushed LA, talking about how, it's the same Raiders, how he wanted to finish what he started. Spytek was talking about how there's a huge role for him in the offense, and really gearing people up. Whole time he's struggling in practice. You know what I mean? And so there's always just like this gimmick or illusion trying to be sold to us. And to me, that just doesn't sit right with me. Like I don't like the illusions. I don't like salesmen. I don't like people trying to like bait me into thinking something's good. Like I don't want to say I like that. I won't fall for it. I will never fall for it. I used to fall for it. I fell for it back in the day. But I'm not falling for that kind of shit anymore because, it gets old, right? Once Mark Davis sells me a new era of excellence with Dennis Allen and fucking Carson Palmer, I'm done. New era of excellence with Dennis Allen and fucking Terrell Pryor. I'm done. Like I'm not just gonna buy into the hype, right? I say before, I'll say it again. My takes aren't to do Mike Davis's bidding. My takes aren't to do the Raiders bidding. My takes are just how I feel and what I see, right? And so, like I said, it's hard for me to like go on here and say these things. It's hard for me to talk about it just because I don't feel like I'm, the average cheerleader for the Raiders. I love my team. I love my squad. It'll never change. But the one thing I always ask is year over year consistency, and like a quarterback with the future, right? Like I always want to do better than we did last year. That way we're moving one step towards the right direction. But it also hits different when you have either a quarterback just kind of learning, a young quarterback on its way, something like that. But when it's not that, and we're just kind of constantly doing these gimmicks with Antonio Pierce, Pete Carroll, it gets old, right? Like I can't keep just buying into these hypes because I don't know, they made a cool video. I don't know. So that's been my feelings. Now let's talk a little Jakobi Meyers.
My understanding is the Raiders had one team reach out to them. They wanted the Raiders to pay some of the $11 million salary, and the Raiders are not willing to do that, and they're not looking to deal him. So Jakobi Meyers is going to be there, barring something unforeseen happening. I mean, they could decide a few games in he's not happy, he's not behaving well, but they don't want to trade him, and they view him as a productive player. He's been a really good player, and he's entering the last year of his deal. So they want to hold on to him in Vegas. They're not looking to deal him, and right now they have no intention of trading him. My understanding is the Raiders.
Here we go again, right? The execution with this, I think, is very poor, right? Come play for the Raiders, where we take away guaranteed money from players, and we don't pay them, we don't trade them, we just do whatever the fuck we want to do. To me, it doesn't make sense to hold on to Jakobi Meyers. Like, I get he's our best wide receiver on an okay roster, but makes no sense, right? One, adding like a good wide receiver, making him a high paid player, the team has to be Super Bowl ready, right? Like, that is just the missing piece. That was the whole we got Devontae Adams thing, is because we were playoff ready and we just wanted to add to that and go farther. But I think what's going to happen here is he's just going to walk next year. We get nothing out of it again, right? We get nothing out of it again. We didn't get nothing for Josh Jacobs. We barely got anything for Devontae Adams. We didn't get nothing for Derek Carr. We're going to get nothing again, right? But hey, he's going to be on our team this year, and they're going to sell the jerseys that they pre-made for him. And so, I think it's kind of lame, right? Because this is Jakobi Meyers scenario, right? Is he either wants to get paid like a number one on a non-winning team, Raiders, right? Or he'll take number 2 to 3 money on a winning organization like Chiefs, Eagles, teams that have been there and just need that piece. And so that's pretty much, I think, how it's going to go. Why would we pay him? Like, he's good, but he's not like what he's asking for good. And so trade him, pay some of the salary. Like, we're going to pay him the $11 million anyways this year, pay some of it. And now we have draft picks building towards a future instead of just dragging. Like, my opinion, the Raiders need to just finally do a hard, like, tanking, reset, rebuild season. We've been dragging this. Like, we just keep coming up with gimmicks, keep like dragging it. We need to like really do a reset here. Get some, assets for draft capital, maybe trade capital, stuff like that. But instead, we just hold on to players until they pretty much lose value or we lose control, right? The Josh Jacobs thing was crazy. We didn't pick up the 5th-year option, so now we have to tag him instead of trading him. Anyways, so we like, I don't know what the plan is here, but I can almost guarantee you that he's either going to walk, we're going to overpay him, and that's probably more than likely what's going to happen. So something to watch too, right? Or keep an eye on. But that, man, all right. Let's see what my GOAT has to say. You know what I'm saying?
So you've talked about before that you were ready to spend your entire career with one team.
Yeah.
And it was the Raiders.
Yeah.
Why? Why the Raiders? Why are they so important?
Well, it's funny. I just talked to Mark Davis yesterday. Just called him, we check in, keep a great relationship. And one of the things we both said is like the respect we have for one another and how much love we have for that place. Is second to none. I would love to see someone love the Raiders more than me. Good luck. I knew I was called to that place. And so that was my situation. Those are the cards I was dealt, and I loved it. And so my love for the Raiders is deep in my heart. If I'm going to go play a Madden game, I'm playing with the Raiders. Right. And I love my time with Saints. I love my teammates. The fans were great. The organization was great. That was awesome. But I also felt like a hired contractor.
Yeah.
Whereas
that's weird how you do feel that way after you leave your first team.
When I go,
so you've talked about before.
So watch how he's talking, right? And then this is how
Tom
Mark
Brady.
Davis talks.
Okay. You brought Tom aboard.
He was supposed to be here in 2020.
Oh, he was?
Well, that's when our relationship started.
Got it.
Was in 2020 when he was a free agent, and we talked about him coming here to play quarterback, and obviously it was a tough decision for him, and
fucking guy, dude.
He was close to wanting to come here, but the head coach and general manager decided they wanted to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
So we didn't sign him.
Mm-hmm.
But as I got to know him through that process, I let his agent know that when he was done playing, that I would like him to be part of our organization, and let him know. And then it was a couple of years later that he retired,
Mm-hmm.
and so we talked, And it wasn't an easy process, but the National Football League eventually let it happen.
Yeah.
And now, in fact, the other day they changed the rule on him, and he's allowed now to talk to players.
Yep. I know. Tom Brady.
This fucking guy is like, it's delusional, right? Well, I don't want to say delusional, but like the way he just talks is just, it annoys the fuck out of me. One, do you really think Tom Brady was going to come to the Raiders? Derek Carr had the same amount of coaches by the second year he started for the Raiders than Tom Brady had his entire career. Right? What was it? He had Bill Belichick. He had Bruce Arians. And then Bruce Arians stepped down. I forgot who stepped up. But that's 3 coaches, right? In like 20 years. Derek Carr had Dennis Allen, Tony Spano, and Jack Del Rio by his second year being a starter. And so I really find it hard to believe that Tom Brady was just, it was our choice for him to come to our team or not. Like I have a hard time believing that, but it also just makes me sick hearing that this also, like, it's just annoying, right? Like we're seeing a clip of our franchise quarterback who's giving us his all, and then we see a clip of the owner who just never really believed in our franchise QB. And so, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. There's only one person to blame, and we see him Sunday, Josh McDaniels. All right, so let's get into Sunday's game, right? All right. I'm kind of like a WWS promo, all right? Dear Raiders, I don't ask for much, right? Main thing I ask for every year is year-over-year improvement. I don't even care about that this year. I also ask that we beat the Chiefs. I don't even care about that this year. There is one person that I care about beating this year. And it's a man that came and destroyed everything that we loved. Man that came in, thought he was above everybody else, thought he could make the good program, but didn't. The man who failed miserably. The man who failed after, or the man who had failure after failure after failure after failure. The man who blamed everybody but never looked in the mirror. And that is Josh McDaniels. Can we please just beat Josh McDaniels Sunday? Because I want to see that stupid look on his face when he loses. Because I enjoyed it when we beat him as a Denver Bronco in 2010. But I did not enjoy it from 2022 to 2023 when he was on the Raiders. Because the look of confusion, the look of stupidity on his face just annoys the fuck out of me. And so now it'll be a good one because we're beating his brains in. So if there's anybody out there that works for the Raiders organization, that plays for the Raiders organization, hell, even knows anybody there, please let them know that we need to win on Sunday. Now, speaking on Sunday, let me get into this. Shout out to Gus's Pizzas. Gus's Pizza is allowing me to host like a little watch party. I've never done one before. I don't really know too many people out here. So who knows? It might just be me and my wife watching the Raider game at Gus's Pizza. So if you're in the Arizona area, come on out, right? You guys know me. I love to watch the games at home in my Raider den with my Raider dogs and my Raider wife. I like to get drunk off mimosas and pass out, right? Like that's just my thing here, especially for morning games. But the vibes in Arizona were just so I can't even explain it. And so I'm trying to recreate that magic, right, in West Phoenix. So if you are in the Arizona area, in the West Side, come hang out with us at Gus's Pizza. They open at 11, but Gus's Pizza is being kind enough to open up at 10 for us Raider fans. So let's make sure we take care of them. I love little dive bars that I don't feel ripped off, right? When I leave. And so, yeah, I'm not going to get ripped off because they have great prices, supporting local businesses and being around Raider fans. I see a win-win-win. And so if you come on down, right, we're going to do paid raffles. I'm also going to do a free raffle. But the other day, I posted a video of Josh McDumbass on my page. And you're probably wondering, why was there a picture of Josh McDumbass on your page? Well, I'm glad you guys asked. Nobody. So, at this watch party, we are going to be playing a little game. Let's see right there. Boom. And it is called Pin the Excuse on the Dumbass. So, we're going to ping this up, and we're just going to pin a bunch of excuses on this dumbass in honor of playing him on Sunday, and hopefully we whoop his ass. So if you're interested, right, it sounds like a little fun game. Hopefully we make it fun. Come on down. Come hang out with me. But I think that's pretty much what I have for today. 26 minutes might be a world record for streaming. But if anybody's out there watching, I appreciate you. Have a great Friday. Happy, game weekend. Happy week 1 opening. Anybody in New England, have a great time. Have one for me. Let's go.